Welcome back to the Casting Cost CEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
And I'm Chase, and today we're covering another 10K.
We're really struggling.
We're struggling today. It's just one of those days. But this is like the 20th time we've re-recorded an intro because we both keep fucking up on things. But today we are covering the AGL CCS Summerfest 10K from this past weekend in Stone Mountain, Georgia, that had 110 players at it. So the AGL being Appalachian Gaming League and CCS being Charlie's Collectible Show.
Nice.
I feel like they do this like on a pretty regular basis in that area. So I don't think Stone Mountain's too far away. So maybe the next time they have one, or here recent or not recently, but like we hit a certain sub count, maybe about 1,000. Maybe we'll go to one of these big events pretty soon. We did say we're gonna go to the next Mortal Kombat if we hit. I said at least I'll go to the next one if we hit at least 2K before it happens. I know you're gonna try and go regardless, but if you want to see us at some of these big events, like and subscribe. So
does that mean we have to take flubs to like an event like this?
Oh yeah, no. Both of us. I think just me.
You don't want to. Okay.
You don't want to take flubs?
I want to rank higher than you with flubs.
What the fuck is that? That is my baby.
That will never happen, but I can dream.
That we both have to run the same list if we do it.
Nah, hell no. That's the creative part.
So, but going back to this, so we're covering the top 16 from this event that happened this past weekend. So let's get started. All right. In 16th place, we have Nathaniel Prescott with Radodrabic of Urborg with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. So this is a deck that I'm not very familiar with. Have you seen this deck?
Radodrabic. I've seen the commander. I've just never seen the actual deck like in action.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so from what I can tell, we are in Orzhov colors. Just kind of just skimming through the creatures just very quickly. It looks like we are kind of doing some aristocrat type stuff where we have these Orzhov creatures as sack outlets, utilizing Blood Artist type effects, whether it is Blood Artist, Zulaport Cutthroat, Warren Soul Trader. It also looks like they might be on some kind of Walking Ballista line. Are they on the Heliod? Are they on Mono White?
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like they're just finding ways to make like infinite mana with Abdel Adrian, things like that.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, the Abdel Adrian line for sure. Boromir to make everything indestructible. Okay, that's kind of cool. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else that kind of stands out in the list. I feel like it's pretty close to what you would want to see in most of the Orzhov shells with like you're doing a lot of this reanimation type stuff, because I feel like that tends to be the strongest thing if you were just kind of in those 2 colors. Yeah. Obviously you have access to like the silence effects and like the really good tutors that you want. This is kind of interesting. If you scroll down to the artifacts, one that actually stands out to me is the Altar of the Brood. So like being able to utilize that as a piece to like just mill out the table. Yeah. You especially like with the Abdel Adrian lines, you have that out, and then you continue to make creature tokens, and you just mill everyone out. So I mean that's kind of cool to see there. You see the Altar of Dementia and the Phyrexian Altar there as ways of just like either being able to sack those tokens and mill everyone out, continuing to do that, or if you're doing like the reanimation type lines. They are on Gravecrawler, they are on the Forsaken Miner, so being able to use those as pieces of being able to get the Phyrexian Altar to get them back. From what I can tell, Skull Clamp, kill off those tokens, draw more cards, seems real good. And then enchantments. Smothering Tide, Trouble of Pairs, Necromancy, Dance of the Dead, things like that. Animate Dead. So yeah. All those things to get the Abdel Adrian line going.
Yeah, Call of the Ring seems really, really interesting. There's got to be some type of... I feel like there's got to be some type of like way to just loop that as well. I'm assuming That actually seems pretty good too, because like the ring tempting you turns other creatures into legendaries. So then you can.
So that works with the commander there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that seems really cool. Yeah, the list seems really, honestly, really cool. I like this.
That is neato.
It is running a lot of legends too, so being able to even like the Bartolomeo, I don't know how to say it, but being able to like
Bartolomeo.
Thank you.
Or Barto.
I think you were right.
Lame del Presidio.
I think you were right.
I don't know. We're simple people.
Yeah. But no, I think that this list is really cool. It's running a ton of legends. It's so hard to make, like, it's hard to win in just like regular Orzhov.
Yeah.
Like I think we ranked Orzhov pretty low.
Pretty low when we did it, but yeah.
No, this is really cool. Just taking advantage of all the legends and being able to, like, you're sacking them to get some sort of a payoff, but then also you get a non-legendary copy of it, so then you have more sacks. Like same thing with like Yawgmoth, different payoffs there. Warren Soul Trader, like Sephiroth, and like these other things to like bleed people out. Zulaport Cutthroat, the LSL core, being able to sack it, and then you create a copy of the LSL core. So I mean, this is just dope. I like this. This looks really cool.
Seems good. Well, either way, congrats Nathaniel on 16th place here. All right, in 15th place, we have Hayward Charles on Rao Monsoon Mage with 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. Now, according to Top Deck, it didn't have his deck list on there, so I think we found the list that he was running.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it says at last updated 10 days ago. Yeah. So let's kind of look through this list together. What we got?
Is this a reference to No Country for Old Men?
I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it is. I could be wrong, but it's a scene where he goes into the little gas station. He like tells the dude to choose off the flip.
Yeah.
And the guy just ends up winning, and he's like, "Don't mix it in with the other coins." And he's like, "Or else it'll just be another coin." And he's like, "Which it is," you know. So yeah, he basically doesn't die because of that. But regardless, this is Rao.
Oh.
God, I'm sorry. It's a good movie. You should watch it.
What the fuck was that? All right, let's look at this deck. So, very low creature count. That's kind of what we've been expecting, seeing Vivi in the 99. Creatures that are either going to help produce mana, like the Stormkilling Artist, Treasonous Ogre, Runaway Steamkin, Burgy, Sticker Goblin, you name it. I think the main stuff we would be looking at is going to be in our sorceries and our instances.
Mm-hmm. Bonus round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's basically what Rally is. Just find ways to like dig deeper and deeper, copy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Until eventually you're getting like the ultimate Rally payoff, and then
as many will effects as they can, which is mark to potentially get around One Ring type stuff.
Do we think this one's on the prologue to Paresis?
I guess we're about to find out.
Doesn't look like
no, this is not a Rad Storm Infect Ral, so
dang.
I do like that build of it though. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
So yeah, I think from what we can tell, and I don't have it pulled up on mine, but you know what we've really come to see out of Ral, just like this really fast paced spell slinger like deck, making a bunch of mana, being able to utilize either like the Time Twister, being able to kind of refill your deck and just kind of keep going and looping things over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what we've really kind of come to expect out of these type of decks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just literally like Grape Shot and other things similar to it.
How many lands are they on?
What do we think?
I'm gonna say 14.
I still think it's 17. I think they figured it out. Oh my god, 18 including NXT. So we're both wrong.
But I was closer because it actually says 14.
You're correct. Yeah. God, that's so low.
That's very low.
It's so crazy, dude.
That's wild.
No Ristic.
But I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, like they're trying to go so fast that I don't think they're worried about resolving a Ristic and trying to play the mid to late game. They're trying to go faster than that. So having a fish is really good, but
so this is actually a 2 deep list then.
Yeah, it's 2 deep. No. God bless. So yeah, but I mean, and that Unless there's something that stands out from this list that anyone else kind of sees, or if, Hayward, you see us covering your deck list, let us know if there's any changes you made, especially since it didn't have it pulled up on Top Deck. So, but regardless, congrats on your 15th place finish. All right, in 14th place, we have Michael Crims on Dargo Timna. So a Dardu list with 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw.
Already, I can tell this list is a little different. They've got the Stitcher Supplier, which I actually think is pretty dope. I think that's kind of cool.
Because we talked last time we saw that come up, we kind of talked about how that is something that can, in a way, help fuel
like breach
lines, especially if you have a way to kind of loop it. But do they have a way to loop that? I think that is the question.
I'm sure they do because you have Ruthless Technomancer.
I'm sure they do because you have Ruthless Technomancer.
Yep.
We answered the question. So you have become more familiar with this list than I have. I've only played it once so far. So what are things that you are recognizing that kind of stand out? Aside from that.
So like Kellen, I kind of base a lot of stuff off Kellen's list just because he's been the one performing like the best with the deck. Most of the things in this list look very similar to his, like the Goblin Welder, Pilferer. Obviously you're running like good stuff, Ragavan. Goblin Engineer's pretty common, Magda. I don't think Kellen is on Darcy, but the same thing. If they're trying to go harder into like Breach, I don't think that that's bad. Plus, it's just another sacrifice outlet for Dargo. Stitcher Supplier is not normally in the list, but I think that it's really interesting. Tataru has been a new include because there's a way for you to loop it. Same thing with Technomancer. You'll draw somebody else out, but it'll allow you to manually to draw through your deck as well, which is really cool.
Plus, it has really good synergies with Magda.
Absolutely, and it's a legend that taps to Relic and things like that, so it makes sense. You can sack the treasures for the Facebreaker and like continue to see more cards if you need to, things like that. Yawgmoth has become like a newer include, which just it makes sense. You can basically draw as many cards as you have life, and also potentially let you wipe the board.
Yeah.
Normally you don't see people on both Rakdos and Yawgmoth. You see them on like one or the other. So I think that that's interesting. I actually was on Rakdos before I was on Yawgmoth. I think Rakdos the muscle is really really good in this deck. So that's
we should have put Rakdos the muscle in that John list.
Yeah, honestly, we should have.
Did we overlook it?
I
like this claim the first board.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's use just for 1 red, steal a creature, then sack it to Dargo.
Yeah, that seems
whatever the problem is, you just get rid of it.
Yeah, they are on Seize the Spotlight, which is cool. Looks like their sorcery count's just a little bit higher. They're on the claim. They're on Infernal Plunge. They're on Reanimate, and they're on Demonic Council.
Demonic Council?
No, he is not.
I didn't think so.
But everything else still seems the same. I don't think Kellen may not be on Jessica's Will either. Now that I think about it, but as far as instants go, everything looks the same. Same thing. Entomb is not something he's on. It looks like they're playing. They're probably gonna have some of their reanimated enchantments. Then I would just assume if they're doing lines like that. Artifacts all look good. Defense Grid, Altar, Curse Mirror, Bolus, Relic. Nothing that stands out that looks crazy. They have... Okay, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Your Technomancer is your reanimate thing, so being able to entomb the other piece that you need, like, again, Deadpool, that makes sense. 23 lands, so they're on 1 less land than what Kellen's on, too.
Interesting.
But, yeah. I mean, the list looks good. It's Dardu.
Yeah, it is Dardu.
Dardu does Dardu things. This deck's so good. It is. It's really good.
That's what you need to play next time we go to a big event.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I could.
Might as well.
I need to tweak my list a little bit more, but I do think that the list is super strong. This is cool. I like the inclusion of the Stitcher Supplier. I think that seems really, really cool. So being able to... Wait. Maybe... Okay. For a second, I was like, wait, were they on Breach? We were talking about them feeding a Breach line, and then I was going to be like, wait a minute, did I miss the Breach? It is interesting they're not opting to run something like Smothering Tithe, but, I mean, it is what it is.
So, all right. Congrats to Michael on 14th place with Dardu. All right. So, in 13th place, I'm going to say your name is Kaylin Steffens on Rogthras with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. Let's see what they got going.
This looks like Simic Rogthras.
This looks like Rogthras.
Just with a little splash of red. I think they're on the Eternal Witness loops. Yeah, because they're running like the gut shot. Yeah, so they're on the Ewit loops.
Yeah, are they on? Do they have Displacer Kitten? Yeah. So the loop there is really just the Ewit, the Displacer Kitten, and like being able to like loop the gut shot after you've generated infinite mana is what it seems like every time I've played against this variant of the deck.
Yeah,
is what they are going for, but they're probably also doing something with like the Fairy Mastermind in there as well. Are they on Endurance? No, they're not on Endurance, so I don't know.
But they're on Green Sun. They can just loop it.
Okay, so they can loop the Green Sun with the Endurance and or not the Endurance, but the Green Sun Fairy Mastermind type things. Okay. Yeah. Especially since they had the Valley Flood Collar in there too, just be able to cast that at instant speed. No Malevolent Rumble. I don't know if that's something that other lists have kind of been off of. And then Clever Impersonator here in the 99, that's interesting. I feel like we only really see that like in Kennen.
Yeah, I think more lists are starting to run stuff like this just because they're picking that up from Kennen lists. Like just everybody's looking for Rhystic Study.
Speaking of Kennen, there is no Kennen.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It seems a little bit odd, but
I mean, this deck makes so much mana anyway. Yeah. Does it truly matter?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think that this seems fine.
Now, I will say this. One thing that kind of stands out to me right away, if you go to Instants and Sorceries, this is a deck that I feel like has traditionally made a bunch of mana, but is not worried about interaction. They chose to go with, like, really heavy interaction in this.
I did notice that.
Which I think that's fine, because, like, the biggest, like, threats are going to be things like Bowmaster, and maybe sometimes if you're drawing, like, if other opponents have other things, they can either punish card draw, or you have to cast a bunch of spells or cast a bunch of creatures and loop things. You want to take care of the Rhystic Studies and the fishes like early on. So I'm all for including as much interaction as you can without having to kind of tear down the basis of what the deck is trying to do. So I think that's fine there.
Yeah.
Even seems a little bit higher on artifacts at times than what we are used to seeing in other Rogthrast builds. I don't know if I'm correct in saying that or not, but I feel like here recently we've seen somewhere between like 8 to 10-ish maybe artifacts, and now they're on 12. So I don't know.
Most people that are playing like the Sam Black version of Rogthrast, they're not going to be on things like the One Ring.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's wrong. I think that it seems fine to just include like a couple extra things. You have your like land searcher type of things, the untapped shenanigans. I mean, I don't think this is bad. I think it seems like a good list. Yeah. It makes sense.
Now, there is a card in the lands that I don't think makes most lists, but I kind of like it. It's the Urza's Cave. Because they're able to, I mean, they pump all that mana into it and then go get whatever land they need.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they have things like the Minamo and the Deserted Temple and things to untap their lands already out. Like, if you're just missing that one piece, might as well. Or it's just a straight up tutor, like, again, I mentioned Bowmaster earlier, like, it's a straight up, like, oh, I'm going to tap and sacrifice this and go ahead and get the Talon Gates, put it in play, and phase out your Bowmaster, and now I'm going to continue doing what I need to do. Like, especially if that's, like, the last piece you need for, like, an Arboreal line or something like that.
Well, also, with you being such a lands-heavy deck, I think it makes sense. Like, they're running the One Ring, and then they have access to just, like, go rip Minamo straight out of the deck and, like, throw it on there. So, I mean, it makes sense. It just seems like a more... like a more standard... CEDH, I guess, like type list, like they're more interaction. They're trying to grind a little more like mid-rangey type list, like a more mid-rangey
they're
CEDH
planning
version.
They're planning for a mid-range grind fest here. So,
but I think the list looks good.
Oh yeah,
they clearly did well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, congrats on 13th place. All right, in 12th place we have Tegan William Van Diver. That's a fancy name, if that's how it's pronounced. On Kenrith, the Return King, with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. So let's look at this Kenrith list.
This is all you, my friend. It looks like they're on the Hermit Druid, Thassa stuff. They're on...
It's not me. I don't know that might
Billy Pala.
There's a lot of different things in this list.
Yeah.
Okay, hold up.
The Oculus? What the heck?
Yeah, there... Okay, hold up.
Zerta.
Huh. Okay, so... This is an interesting list, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, from what... they're going really out there on a lot of different things, it feels like. So, I mean, obviously, like, you have the Hermit Druid, like, Thassa's Oracle type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have... I'm guessing there's some kind of Warren Soul Trader loot because you have Chatterfang there as well. So you have Chatterfang, Warren Soul Trader type things going on. I would assume... This is interesting. A lot of ways of reducing some costs, not just with Zerta, but also being able to utilize Agatha of the Vile Cauldron to reduce some of the cost of Kenrith. So I kind of feel like this version of the deck is actually a little bit more centered around Kenrith than it just being a straight up good stuff pile. Now the Abhorrent Oculus is also, but I guess if you're just more so worried about just putting things on the battlefield, then it doesn't really matter if they're 2/2s or you're able to flip them or what. Like, you're just trying to cheat things out the best you can, it seems. So it goes really heavy into the Kenrith plan between the Agathas, the Biomancer's Familiar, the Zerta reducing all the cost on things as much as it wants to. Like... I see the Fairy Mastermind. I see the Kennen they're on Smothering Tithe, so they have that combo in here as well. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that kind of stands out. So we have Hermit Druid, Chatterfang, Warren Soul Trader. We have a lot of cost reduction on things. We have the Fairy Mastermind combo with Kenrith. I'm seeing things like Fabro Elder, Solvala, Bloom Tender in there, but whenever I see those, like, I'm instantly like wanting to gravitate more towards like, are we dealing with Derevi Emil stuff? And I'm not seeing that here.
We haven't even gotten through the rest of the list.
No, we haven't. But yeah, I'm assuming is just this is a very creature heavy, focused on Kenrith game plan, reducing a lot of the cost on things, being able to pump and put out a bunch of creature tokens, whether that's through Chatterfang or this Emrakul's Messenger potentially, because you can make more mana or it's more bodies. Pillapala is here in the 99, and that's usually a combo piece.
You know what I'm thinking here? I could be absolutely wrong.
Are we comboing with Pillapala? No? Okay.
Huh.
Well, technically speaking, yes, you are, but...
Yeah. Oh, because the Zerta...
Well, not just Zerta, but also because of the Enduring Vitality. So, the Zerta, the Enduring Vitality, and with Kennen on board, you continue to make infinite mana. Because you could tap it down for the color, and then, like... Especially like or not even with Zerta, if you have Enduring Vitality, Kennen, and the Pillapala on board, you just make infinite mana that way. Because you tap it down for the 2, whatever you want to pay the generic, and then you untap it, and then you make a mana of whatever color you want. So yeah, it just goes super heavy into the Kenrith plan.
Wait, so then what does the Warren Soul Trader do? Warren Soul Trader. I mean, I see the Warren Soul Trader Chatterfang, but I'm just confused. I was thinking that there was a way to like bring back some of your creatures, give them haste, like you can tap them down. But I'm just not.
This is a very interesting Kenrith list. Something you're just really not used to seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not really going to be worried about paying the life because you just continue to sacrifice the squirrel token you get. And then anytime your life total gets low, you just pay it into Kenrith, gain the 5 life back, especially if you have all these different things that are going to reduce the cost anyway.
Oh, pay a life, sack a creature.
Yeah.
Okay, you're creating...
And then whenever you make the treasure, you'll make another body to sacrifice the Warren Soul
Yeah,
Trader.
the Zerta reduces the cost of the Kenrith by 2, so you just pay the white from it. You technically will net infinite treasures there, correct? And then after that, you can start activating the other Kenrith abilities.
Yeah.
Okay. I was tripping.
Well, it won't necessarily reduce it by 2 because it can't go past 1 with Zerta.
Wait, can't mana if
it can't reduce it below than 1.
Well, I mean, still you'll make enough because you're okay. Yeah. You still technically will make infinite mana because you can just gain the life back
ultimately, like, this list, it goes, like, super heavy into the Kenrith plan is what I'm kind of seeing this as, and just is trying to, it almost feels like it's trying to jam a bunch of different combos in order to do whatever it needs to in that moment. And so I wouldn't even say it's necessarily like a toolboxy version of Kenrith. It's just it has a lot of pieces in the 99 here, especially with it being creature combo based, where you will make use to Kenrith to the best of whatever its ability is.
That makes sense. For some reason, I was looking for another creature in the deck to do something with the Warren Soul Trader Shadowfang, and I was like your commander.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't.
Commander just does it.
Yeah, I was tripping for a sec.
It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, even though that took a while for us to kind of figure some of those things out, congratulations on 12th place finish here. All right, so in 11th place, we have Jordan Drake on another Rogthras list with a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. Let's take a look at this list. Is there any differences?
There are differences because I can just tell by where things are lined up, but for the most part, it is still just Simic Rogthras. Not saying that in like a mean way, but it's just Simic Rogthras. They're running same thing, lots of interaction. Opting to run lots of counters. This one's actually even on an additional artifact than the last one.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well.
Yeah. I think they might just be on an additional, like, I think they're on the Signet or something like that. They're on the Song of Creation. I don't remember if the other one was on Song.
It was not. I think 2 cards that actually kind of stand out to me. Actually, a few differences, like in the sorcery package, they are opting for Gamble. The other list was not on Gamble, but it was on Sylvan Scrying, whereas this one is not on the Sylvan Scrying.
Yeah.
They are on Song of Creation for this one. So maybe to some extent, this one is actually trying to be a little bit heavier into the Breach plan than what the other one was. Just with those inclusions of Gamble, and then every time you cast a spell, you're doing the Song of Creation stuff, but then, like, you're in step, like if you don't hit the breach or you're not able to, like, like you get stopped or whatever, you haven't hit breach yet, you pitch your hand into your graveyard, kind of set up as you're accruing value through the Thrasios through your opponent's turns, and then when you get back to your turn, you have all these cards in your graveyard after that. So
this one is not on the Gut Shot loop either. It's not on the Ewit type loop with that.
Interesting. But it is on the Fairy Mastermind stuff. So I'm assuming that is kind of the main go-to plan, is trying to do Fairy Mastermind loops.
And Finale.
With the Green Sun. Being able to continue to put that into the graveyard. And you could do it at instant speed with the Valley Flood Caller. So that way, if you're having to do it on someone else's turn, it just doesn't matter. Yep. Are they on Born Upon? Yeah, they're on Born Upon the Wind too. So, yeah.
Yep, but that just looks the same, just slightly different win lines, but still really good deck.
All right, congrats, Jordan, on 11th place. All right, in 10th place, we have Paul Merle again on Kennen Bonder. I said Ponder Prodigy is what I almost said. Kennen Bonder Prodigy with 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. So since the last time we've talked about this deck, let's see if Paul has made any changes.
Man is still a menace. He's still. I see the Thorn Mammoth, the Jinkataxis. He's on the Archaic, Consphinx.
The Cephalid Empress.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ballista as a potential finisher.
There's that show and tell.
Is he still on he's on Savala Stampede.
Yeah. That looks right.
Yeah. He's on the Mind Over Matter in the enchantments. Yep. That with the One Ring, destroy your whole deck.
He is just jamming, and he is rocking this list, trying to drop down like Consphinx as soon as he can, like it was in your game.
He's on Trick Bind.
I think he was on Trick Bind last time too. Yeah.
This is funny.
From what we could tell, Paul, you have not changed your list. Keep doing what you're doing because we love it. Was he on Machine Guns last time?
Yes.
Okay, so
he
is still just
possession.
rocking Sig list. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, a lot of unique things in this list. Let's see. Let's give you a Oh yeah, it's like because like just to counter the meta. We kind of talked about this in the comments last time, but Mind Over Matter plus the One Ring is stupid. Because you just draw your whole deck out. So, and just be able to do whatever you want to at that point.
This list is funny. This is cool. It doesn't look like there's very many changes.
No, I haven't noticed, but I'm sure that if there have been changes, Paul, you will let us know.
Let us know.
So, congrats, man, on 10th place in this event. All right, so I will go ahead and say forgive me for I do not know how to pronounce your last name, and I'm going to give it my best shot, so that way Blake can laugh at me. But in 9th place, we have Daniel Pereira.
I think it's Pereira.
Pereira?
I could be wrong. Pereira.
We're going to go with what you said, Pereira. I see the EI there together. I'm just like, the EI together. I'm just like,
I mean, it's if I saw that, if I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I saw that, I would think it's Pereira.
Okay, so we're going to say Pereira. Daniel Pereira with 2 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws on the Wandering Minstrel.
Doesn't look like they got Lumra in the 99.
They don't have Lumra in the 99, but I'm assuming they are still doing Lumra loops, like the deck loops, because they have Aftermath Analyst here.
Yeah.
Like...
They have Hermit Druid, which seems real good.
Oh, yeah, just be able to mail yourself out. Mail yourself out that way? Yeah, that actually does seem pretty good. But yeah, so for the Wandering Minstrel, so this is one of our newer Final Fantasy commanders. And have we seen it pop up yet in... We may have, but I'm not, like maybe once or twice pop up in our top 16.
No, yeah, we covered, remember the episode we just covered where Ian won, it was in the top 4.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can't remember that far back.
It's okay.
So, it's okay. My brain gets crowded with other people's thoughts a lot of the time. So, but let's take a look at this. So, yeah, obviously the Aftermath Analyst type loops, the Sylvan Safekeeper there to actually continue sacrificing lands and being able to do the Aftermath stuff through Shifting Woodlands, most likely. Hermit Druid here in the 99. I don't think this is something we typically see, but we do have Hermit Druid Thassa's Oracle combo there. So I'm assuming that there's probably Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pact, so on. Sorceries, a bunch of will effects, Scape Shift. I like that. Life from the Loam. That's a Flubs card. All the good black tutors that you want.
Mean bed, yeah.
This seems really high on interaction.
Does it?
Am I wrong in saying that? I feel like it is. I feel like this is a version of this deck that is trying to like push more into that mid game, because like these lands decks, I feel like whether it's like the Turbo Cradle decks or Lumra or even versions of this that we've seen, like I feel like they're typically like pretty low on interaction, and they're just trying to fuel their graveyards and do the Aftermath stuff and things like that. This one feels like it's going a lot more into like that mid to late game and more so focused on creature synergies that are going to help with the Wandering Minstrel plan while doing that. So, and I could be wrong in saying that, but I mean, shit, if they're able to like, get everything into their graveyard through a Hermit Druid and then like get back the lands they need to, and then turn the Shifting Woodlands into an Underworld Breach, and then being able to do more like shenanigans from there, like it's probably pretty effective. What are you looking at here? Ripples of Undeath?
Yeah. I was just looking at some different stuff. They're on like really good, like the enchantments, like the Squandered Resources and things like that to net lots of mana. Ripples, like if you mill your whole deck, then you can potentially just put the Thassa's Oracle back in your hand.
You know what's interesting? I'm looking at the artifacts. They are missing a combo piece in these decks. Zuran Orb.
Oh, what, to like sack your lands?
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten into the lands. They may not even need to sack their lands.
Maybe. I mean, they do have the Sylvan Safekeeper, but I do think that's interesting in a deck that's constructed this way. And maybe part of it is just because like Lumra's not in there too.
Yeah.
But like we've come to see that as a card pop up in this style of a deck.
It looks like they're probably just they're going a lot harder into like the Hermit Druid rather than like trying to do Lumber Loops. I'm trying to look through some of their.
Well, obviously they're not going to do Lumber Loops.
Why not? That's what I'm saying.
Also, kind of surprised, even though the Wandering Minstrel is a Amulet of Vigor in the command zone for your lands, I'm surprised to not see Amulet of Vigor as well.
Really?
Yeah. Did you notice anything in the lands that seems different, or?
Well, Lotus Field is like a land sack outlet. Like when at ETB, sack 2 lands, you can tap to add 3 mana. The Minstrel will have it come in untapped. Hey, buddy, what you doing? I'm trying to see if there's anything that's like making sense to me. Dude, that's like kind of it. Rise in Progress.
So might be trying to go heavier into the Hermit Druid stuff like you were talking about.
I guess Horizon of Progress. I mean, you can make the 3 mana from the Lotus Field and then have it sack it and like the Horizon of Progress. Or have it sack something else. Draw 3 cards.
What's the matter, buddy?
Echoing Deeps. Man, I really don't know.
It's definitely a interesting list. Like you see some of the like really more like key components that we would expect from it, but then again, it's like there's some things that I feel like have been kind of taken out from what we have come to see from the list as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I was, I guess, making the comment on like it seems like there's higher interaction. It seems like they are maybe just trying to go for more of a breach, like, you know, kind of turbo, get as many things, like all your lands in the graveyard, then do the Shifting Woodlands to make it a breach, and then like being able to cast whatever you need to from there, because then you have all of your stuff just in the graveyard, your free interaction, and whatever you need at that point.
Yeah. No, I mean, that definitely makes sense.
So,
yeah. No, like I said, I definitely think that makes sense. And then if you can mill most of your deck, you have Life from the Loam and things like that to be able to.
Yeah, I was actually just scrolling down here to double check, make sure Shifting Woodlands is in here, because I could be speculating and then they not have that card in there.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have it, Echoing Deeps can come in as a copy of as the Shifting Woodlands too. Like if for some reason it gets milled, it's like you have other options.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks
So all right, congrats Daniel on 9th place. All right, in 8th place we have Spooky with Tevish Thras with 3 wins, 3 losses, and 0 draws.
Dang, he wasn't accepting draws.
No draws.
That's pretty funny.
All right, what we got here?
You know what this kind of looks like?
You know what? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say it looks very similar to like that Francisco Thras.
I was about to say the same thing, because I'm seeing Magus of the Candelabra, I'm seeing Biomancer's Familiar, I'm seeing Springheart Nantuko, and I feel like this is a Sultai Turbo Cradle deck.
Yep.
Is what this feels like.
Yep, they borrow lots of good tutors. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Ooh. Step through in the sorcery package.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's mostly, I think it's mostly going to be there because, like,
the wizard cycling.
Yeah, you can just go get Thassa's Oracle right away, or if you're on the Aurora stuff, you can get it as well. Yeah.
Thank. Pretty cool.
Or Valley Flood Caller. What other wizards we got in here?
All
I think
wizards.
I think that is actually, what is
Spellseeker. Valley.
Yeah, there's quite a few wizards that are targets. I feel like the main ones are going to be the Oboral and the Thassas. And
Magus. Magus of the Candelabra.
Is it also a wizard? Well, fuck me then.
There's so many wizards.
There's so many wizards. We're all wizards. And we just gather every so often. Okay. You just remember what that was from. That's a story time with Blake. Maybe one day he'll share that. Not right now though. But yeah, to me it's the Turbo Cradle deck that we saw last time. We kind of saw this build with Insultai, and rather than doing Francisco, we are on Tevish, which I almost feel like is a little bit better, just because You're making, like, if you cast the Tevish, you're making 2 thralls, or you say if you want to sacrifice a creature and get more card draw, like, you can do quite a few things with it. So it provides you a lot more flexibility than what the Francisco does. In black, we're just opting for, I guess, better tutors over the speed itself that Rograk provides, or even the Yoshimaru to some extent. Even though Tevish costs a lot, if that is the strategy you're going for in a deck like this, that 5 mana is pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like.
Well, I think it's cool to see, like, all these, like, Thrasios, like, Turbo Cradle decks starting to pop up, and, like, you're starting to see everything kind of fall into place. Rograk is obviously, like, really good early, but, man, it starts to lose. You lose a little bit of that tempo as the game progresses from stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just being able to say, hey, no, I just want access to, like, whatever card I want out of my deck with the black tutors, I think that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
So it seems good.
So that's pretty cool. All right, congrats, Spooky, on 8th place. All right, in 7th place, we have Clint Owens on VV with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw.
You gotta say it like a Vivi.
VV. Yeah. All right, what we got here?
Super low, creatures like normal.
Yeah, but I think some differences. I feel like some VV lists we've seen Ral pop up in the 99. They are not on Ral, and we have seen Hullbreaker not included in the 99. They are choosing to include Hullbreaker, which I kind of like. I think even in my own VV builds, I have Hullbreaker and Valley Floodcaller. So, like, being able to do, like, the Floodcaller loops, or, like, being able to do Hullbreaker loops and being able to trigger the VV, I like it personally. So it kind of makes me feel like they might be going for a little bit slower of a game plan than more of these, like, really fast, like, Spellslinger VVs that we've seen. But let's take a look at it.
Oh, that's so good now that I think about it. Because I was thinking to myself, like, okay, something like a Quicksilver Elemental, like, obviously if you're just gonna play that, you're gonna make infinite mana and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But technically, like, Hullbreaker Horror can help to fuel the VV anyways. Like, if you have some kind of draw engine, you're just bouncing stuff, drawing through your deck.
You don't even need a draw engine. You just ping.
You just kill everybody.
You just kill everyone.
Yeah.
You just fuck everyone up. Like,
silly me.
That's all you gotta do.
Fuck everybody.
So,
what that's you're like really just sitting there. You're like, do I really force a will this Mox Amber right now?
Yeah. There are a lot of times with Blake and I where he starts going through and explaining things, and I let him do it. I'm like, oh, you could just do this, though, and he goes, oh yeah, you could just do this.
See, you're the kind of person that's like, let's take the path like what is it, more like the well beaten path, and then I just look and I go, how can I go through this thicket?
Yeah, I am very much like,
sense.
Let's go from point A to point B. You're all over the fucking place. And I don't know if sometimes we ever get back to where we actually need to go. But let's keep going with this. So I think in the sorceries, we're seeing the displacement wave. We're seeing a couple of will effects, the gamble, so on, things we're used to seeing. Not as high in sorceries as some of the other VV lists that we have seen. But I think that's because we're not seeing like the Ral or like super stormy payoffs. But this is different. Savor the moment.
Yes.
This 3-drop, so a colorless and 2 blue sorcery. Take an extra turn after this. Skip the untap step of that turn, which I think is fine because if you've built VV up to be big enough, you take an extra turn. Like, VV's going to be your outlet for the mana anyway. So I think that totally makes sense to have in there. It just kind of feels bad if someone silences you in that next turn, but at least it's not like a Final Fortune turn where like you just lose right after.
Yeah, you're like, I die.
Yeah. So some of these instances, what all we got here? I like the Dizzy spell that actually tutors for your curiosity.
Crowd's favor.
Just being able to buff the VV and get more out of it.
I feel like I was expecting to see more things that like copy, like how we've seen in the past, like things that are just going to continue to copy the spells. But it does look like a lot of it is just like, here, buff VV.
It's definitely buff VV and control. And as we go to the next part of the deck list, we'll probably explain why. Because they are on 24 artifacts. So they're not doing like a full Cheerios package, but they got quite a few artifacts in this. I feel like that's a little bit higher than what we're used to seeing. But I mean, it looks like they're on all the baubles. This Astral Cornucopia, which, I mean, again, it's just a 0-drop. You don't have to pay into the triple X or anything like that, so that's fine. All your rocks that you need. Yeah, a lot of artifacts, a lot of 0-drops in order to just kind of continuing just buffing VV, and if you need to use that mana, eventually being able to do it. Having the Curiosity, the Ophidian Eye, the Virtue of Courage we're seeing pop up again here. Having both Fortune Tellers and Artisan's Talent in here. I feel like we've kind of seen one or the other, not both at times. And aside from that, I'm kind of looking at the lands. I feel like it's a little bit higher on its land count than what we're used to seeing in some of these like stormier builds. But again, I kind of feel like this is a deck that's like, okay, like almost in the way that Comedian had talked about in his VV video, where it's like, okay, let's pick our timing and go. Like, it's not necessarily trying to be the fastest one or trying to be the first one to win. It's trying to sit there and be patient and maybe accrue some value a little bit with VV, and then it's like, okay, here's our window of opportunity. Let's take it.
Well, I feel like right now, too, and again, this is just more speculation than anything, but I feel like whenever people see a VV at the table right now, because it has been, one, super relevant, like a lot of people are playing it, but also it is a good deck, but people, it's easy to get hated out of the game. Yeah. Especially if you're like, first, you're the first person going off, and two, you're the first VV at the table going off. So I think it just makes sense to like sit there, like you said, buy your time, be patient, and be like, okay, no, like somebody else can go first. I'm just going to sit back, kind of lay low, be like, I don't really have anything I'm doing, and then all of a sudden just jam once all the interaction's been blown at the table. So I definitely think that makes a lot of sense. So it's a win second. Did we notice there's no heuristic study?
I didn't notice it, but I feel like we've kind of seen that happen in some of these Is It Stormy decks here recently, where it's just like, yeah, we're still trying to go a little bit faster than everyone else, even though we just made those points of like, maybe it's not trying to go as fast, it's still trying to outpace the table. And maybe the heuristic just feels a little too slow in what they're trying to do, even though they're really high on their interaction. Like, they have all these 0-drops. It kind of makes sense if you're drawing into them that way. Like, with heuristic, they're going to feel like dead cards at times. I don't know. I'd rather have a heuristic study there, but
me too.
But maybe there's a reason for it. So, either way.
I feel like with stuff like I know, obviously, Curiosity, Ophidian Eye, things like that, like, you're wanting ways to obviously draw cards. I feel like heuristic study is the best way currently in the format to draw cards.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. But just an interesting thing that I noticed.
Does it make you curious?
Yeah. That was about to be a terrible joke. You were gonna ask if it makes you curious. I was like, no, it makes me tandem look out.
It's gotta make you keep an eye on it. So. Either way, congrats, Clint, on 7th place. All right, in 6th place, we have Aaron Greiner on Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Wonder if this guy watched our video that you did with Eric.
Maybe. I like the inclusion already of the Tezzeret, the Cruel Captain already, which is sick. Yeah.
I think what stands out to me right away is this kind of looks a lot like Eric's list.
See the Frenzy Bailoff already included, Aftermath Analyst. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to.
I was just going to say, like, because I noticed after you posted that video, and if you haven't watched that, go check that out. He seemed to talk a lot about, like, the new cards from the set. And I noticed that whenever I was kind of looking through his deck list just after it got posted, and he had already made those inclusions. With the Horizon Explorer, the Frenzy Bailoff, the Icetail Explorer, the Famished World Sire. So, I mean, all that stuff's pretty cool to see, like, newer cards actually popping up in these decks.
Yep.
But from where you did talk to Eric, would you like to kind of go through the Lumra stuff?
Yeah. Just trying to go down here and look. I do like, that's so good now that I just showed. So, like, the Tezzeret being able to come down, and you can go and get, like, your Amulet of Vigor just immediately, rip it from the deck. Yeah, things like that. I like the inclusion of, like, Mesmeric Orb. They're on the same thing, the Exploration Brood Ship. I remember you saying he was talking about including that. You have, like, Zurin Orb. Just basically being able to go get whatever artifact combo piece you're needing. But, yeah, essentially the lines that you're looking for with Lumra is some sort of, like, land untapper and then, like, a land sack engine to just mill through your deck.
Yeah.
And then once you can start milling through your deck, you have certain win, like, combos with things like Ashaya, And if you can turn Lumra into a land, you can have, I think it's Vesuva. If I can just find it. Oh, watch out, buddy.
With the Vesuva, Vesuva entering and becoming a copy of the Lumra.
Yeah, and then it just immediately dies because of the Legends rule, and then it'll just continue to do that. You have infinite Lumra loops, and then also if you have like some sort of a sack outlet, you can sack all the lands that say, hey, deal a damage to a player whenever they come in. Or if you have like the Grey Reach Sanitarium, you can draw everybody out, basically like force everybody to draw all the cards out of their decks. But yeah, I think that Eric made a comment that he was going up to 56 lands whenever this set came out. This person's on 50, so they're just on a few less than what he's on.
I can't even imagine playing half my deck as lands.
Yeah, that's the one thing that makes it a little bit difficult, is trying to figure out how to go about your mulligans in a deck like this. Because the problem that this deck has is, for having 50 lands in the deck, it is, as Eric said, abysmal at making green mana, because so many of your like utility lands make colorless mana. And so there will literally be times where you'll have just a handful of lands and like no way to make green mana. So you have to be careful whenever you're trying to like conduct mulligans and stuff with this deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially, that's the goal. Mill your whole deck. Have Lumra, do some sort of combo, and hopefully just burn the whole table out or draw the table out.
Probably draw the table out.
You can do either or.
How do you actually draw them out?
The Guy Reach Sanitarium.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tag it, make them draw 2. Or make them draw, And then same thing, the other ones that come in and just say, like, deal a damage. Like, yeah.
How do you not kill yourself?
Sunscorched Desert. What do you mean?
With drawing. I know there's Green Sun.
Then discard the card. He explained it to me. I just have to find it.
It's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit. Green Sun.
That's it. just Green Sun.
I just had to go find it. Like, I'm not the smartest girl in the box.
Well, like I said a little bit ago, if you haven't watched Blake's video with Eric talking about Lumra, go check that out. Aaron, if you see anything that we missed in this build for Lumra, let us know. But congrats on 6th place. All right, in 5th place, we have Kyle Zuccarini with Dargo Timna again. So another Dardu list with 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw.
Carrion Feeder, already interesting. But I think it's cool. Greedy Freebooter.
Yeah, I feel like before we started doing this, we were kind of picking through this list a little bit just because we saw it was on here, and you saw that there was a lot of differences between this and what you're used to seeing with some Dardu things.
Yes.
So this Dardu do different Dardu things.
They're going like super heavy into the creature package, it looks like, and then just low to the ground, kind of like how we were just talking about, playing like a Jund Dardu, like you have all of like the dorks that come down. These ones are all just little guys that make treasures whenever they die. Being able to like sack them, they reduce the cost of Dargo, get your treasures, sack those to cast the Dargos.
Well, but there was something really spicy that we saw. It's a little bit farther down.
Oh, the shadow, yeah.
Yeah. So that I think that's the reason why there's so many includes and focus on the treasures in the creature package, because then you got shadow that is gonna give all your shit pretty much split second, and like even the Dargo will have split second if you're doing the relic stuff and like tapping the Dargo, making the red that way, and then sacking it and doing things. So definitely a list that is focused on, like, I wouldn't say it's focused on shadow, but being able to utilize shadow to the best of its ability, potentially, like doing all these things that are either sack outlets or like you sack something, you get a treasure or anything like that. Just making it much more difficult for people to interact with you that way. So,
man, this is really interesting. I'm curious. Okay, that makes sense. I think one of the things that we looked at, the Phyrexian Altar, that was one card that I was looking at that was just kind of interesting. So I feel like the way that Kellen's list is set up, I don't know how to, I'm trying to think of like how to explain this, but his sacrifice engines aren't the things that make mana. He has like some sort of a cast trigger that's going to make a lot of your mana. So think of stuff like Burgi or like even something like Relic where it comes in, taps the Dargo, and then that's like where his mana production comes from.
Yeah.
And then his sack outlets are like the payoffs of sacking Dargo. So the things like Sacrifice, the things like Burnt Offering, Altar of Dementia, the Goblin Bombardment, things like that. That's what's going to end up happening. It can feel a little bit weird when you have the Phyrexian Altar because you're sacking that to make the mana for the Dargo.
Yeah.
So then you need some sort of like other payoff for that. Because a lot of your payoffs, like I said, involve sacking Dargo, like Altar of the Wretched or the Ruthless Technomancer, things like that. So Phyrexian Altar kind of feels a little bit weird because if you're sacking the Dargo to be able to recast the Dargo with the Phyrexian Altar, you end up in like a weird loop where you can just do that infinitely, but then there's no actual like payoff. So that's why it looks like they have some of the other stuff in there. Like I was looking at the Marionette Apprentice. So, like, when a creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses a life.
Yeah.
I don't think that stuff is wrong, personally. Like, I'm not saying that. I just think that it puts you in, like, a little bit of, like, an awkward spot where this combo is, like, thrown in there, and I think that it's fine. It's just... neither of those cards work with the other potential like combo pieces, if that makes sense. Like you can't Phyrexian Altar and like Altar of Dementia at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it just feels a little bit awkward, but I still think that it's a solid line. It makes sense. And also because they've got all their little guys that come in for 1 mana, they can basically sack all of them to the altar, making mana, create their treasures, and then now they're making even more mana. And then also with like this, it just slowly like drains the table out. They have ways to like double up on those types of effects and things like that. So I think it's cool. It's definitely a very interesting list. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, like I said, from Kellen's list, but it's still a pretty awesome list.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You got anything else on this one?
Nothing I can think of. Like I said, that was basically it.
Sounds good. So congrats on 5th place here. All right, now we are in our top 4. So in 4th place, we have Al-Malik Ali on Kefka, Court Mage, with 4 wins and 3 losses, 0 draws.
Now, you've played Kefka, and I don't play Grixis. So what does Kefka do, my friend?
So, well, I will actually probably leave it up to Busy in the comments to explain more of Kefka. So it kind of really depends on what the build is trying to do. So I think even Busy like made a comment like last time, like the Tiny Bones was an interesting play, but really it kind of looks like we're doing things like Harmonic Prodigy to kind of double down on our Kefka, either ETB or attack triggers. I'm assuming if that's there, let me look at this Go-Go. This Go-Go becoming a copy of the Kefka at the beginning of combat to do additional triggers. So I'm kind of assuming that it's on that build of it where, let me kind of take a look. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. So like there's a couple things to double down on those triggers, but it's not fully centered around like doing like the essence flux things from what I can tell, or being able to flicker. There is the displacer kit in order to do that. Seeing Notion Thief there in the 99 I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an odd one or not. It definitely feels odd for the way the format is. Just seeing Notion Thief kind of popping up, but low creature count, utilizing it looks like more of the creatures in order to double down on your Kefka triggers and being able to draw more cards that way and utilizing that as a value engine. The sorceries kind of looks more like a traditional like Grixis pile where we have maybe a couple of wheel type effects, all of our tutors that we want. You know, that looks pretty standard, I feel like, with instances. Yeah, even with this, just like feeling like it's more like just focused on the interaction. Obviously included pieces like the Tainted Pact. I do not see a Demonic Consultation. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I know it probably seems weird, but I've talked to, like, when I talked to Fizzle a while back, he went in his Atraxa list, he wasn't playing both Consult and Tainted Pact.
Yeah.
And that was really it. It was just you wanted to find the Thassa, and then you find your other, like, combo piece. But, like, worst case scenario, the Tainted Pact can still be used to, like, dig for interaction, where there will be times where you're tempted to just, like, fire off that Demonic Consultation looking for a card. And as one of our previous gameplays that
upcoming
gameplay, yeah, will show, that's not good.
That's not always good. So yeah, it's definitely like focused on the interaction, probably focusing on more of this like grindy mid-range game as opposed to just the Kefka plan and trying to tear hands apart.
Yeah.
The inclusions of Misdirection and Commandeer are interesting, but being able to have another deflecting SWAT effect or being able to steal a Heuristic Study on the stack might not be too bad. Looking at the artifacts, I always like the inclusion in the Imposter mech whenever you have the opportunity to run it. We've talked about that quite a bit. Curse Totem, I think is starting to see a lot more popularity in brews, especially in decks that like with Kefka in particular, you're not focused on the last part of it. You're mostly focused on the enter and the attack trigger.
Yeah.
So, you're really not even shutting down your own commander at that point whenever you are like trying to lock Kennons out and Sisseys and even like the Thrasios, whatever decks. So I do think that's a pretty good include here. Looking at the enchantments, very like just kind of running bare minimum stuff. Like they're not going into necropotence things. Again, I think that kind of speaks volumes of we're not really trying to go like super aggressive on things. We're just trying to go a little grindy with it. Rhystic Fish, Underworld Breach, the Waste Knot, I think is an interesting include, but it kind of makes sense here because you're still tapping into the Kefka ability of being able to make additional value off of any time your opponents start discarding things, whether that's you make an extra body, extra mana, or you get to draw more cards. So, and then we're looking at 27 lands. I like the Caverner Souls just because naming human, that just makes it to where Kefka, the Harmonic Prodigy, technically the Notion Thief, like all those are uncounterable. So just a guarantee that you're going to get things down.
No, I agree.
So, yep. And that, I'm sure that Bissy Baxton will comment and be like, no, Chase, you were wrong on this. But either way, congrats on 4th place finish here. All right, in 3rd place, we have Max Sternberg, Wounded Satellite, with 4 wins and 3 losses on Rogthras. So let's take a look at his list. What has he got going here? Anything?
This looks exactly like the other list. Like I don't think there's.
I don't think there's any differences.
Yeah,
I think this is the exact same list.
I believe.
I mean, and again, I think you made a comment in the last video on this. Like whenever we're talking about things like this, it's not like discrediting the list or anything like that. It's just whenever we see multiple copies of it, like we tend to try to point out like more of the unique things, or if we get really confused on like why is this an include, we try to point those things out. But with these top end players, this is someone that's very well known in the community, and we've talked about other people on the channel that are well known in the community. Like they are going to be playing the best versions of these decks, or the versions of these decks that have been tested, tried, and so on. And so I think it just makes sense that we are seeing this version of it.
Well, and I think that's part of what happens too. Like the guys like this that are well known in the scene, they play a version of the deck. People look and they go, "Huh, he's playing this way. This must be the correct way to play it."
Yeah,
they pick it up. So I think that's why a lot of lists are going to look similar to that. So I mean, it doesn't seem that surprising that a lot of the other lists are going to look very similar to this. Yeah. I think that this is the list that's this is what people have come to know as like Rogthras. Like splash of red, lots of Simic, Cradle stuff, and then you have either the Finale, the Fairy Mastermind, things like that as the win, run some interaction, and just try to go.
Well, and even to kind of add to your point, like I'm looking at the instances again. Like earlier when we were talking about some of the lists and things that we have seen as far as like in the past with Rogthras or some of these decks, like and I made that comment of like, it doesn't really seem like they've traditionally been really high on interaction. Max here is high on his interaction here. So like, just as much as you were saying, like these are players within our format that are really defining these decks or defining what the format is like and kind of running with it, and then everyone else kind of seeing that, starting gravitating towards that. I feel like we're starting to see that here even within this deck. Like, before, it was maybe a little less interactive, more turbo cradle-y type stuff. Now we're trying to adjust for more of the mid to late game with these decks, which sometimes this deck struggled with. Like especially if it didn't go off early and just got blown out by Bowmasters or a board wipe, or they couldn't recover fast enough. Like, it was sometimes just GG for that deck. But picking up more on interaction here, I think is the good call to meet where the meta is at right now. And because you see someone like Wounded Satellite doing that for this build, and maybe even Sam Black, I don't know, I don't think we've seen his list here recently, but like, people seeing that and starting to gravitate toward that, I think we're going to see more of it.
I agree.
So congrats on third place finish. All right, in second place we have Ian Flannery, so comedian MTG, on Kennen Bonder Prodigy with 4 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws.
Now, are we going to see the show and tell?
No, probably not. I think that is a Paul special.
Yeah.
So let's kind of take a look and see what we got going here. I feel like this is, for the most part, from what I can tell in the creatures, very traditional. Kennen, I think the only things that kind of stand out to me, Ian is choosing for the Wandering Archaic, which we've continued to see pop up in lists, but as we pointed out like a month or so ago, like it seems like Kennen players are getting off of it, and the Void Winnower. Seeing Dosen, he's got Dosen there in the 99.
Yes.
So having access to a silence effect, I think that's kind of interesting. I do think I wouldn't say it's an odd choice. Obviously, anything Ian picks up, he can pick up a pile of shit and take it to an event and just run with it. But like, you know, it is a silence effect. It's not one you can flip into. So that kind of tells me maybe this is like a build where it's more focused on the 99 and doing like the multiple ristics and things like that. But let's kind of keep going to determine whether or not that's going to be the case. Yeah,
I was looking through the creature package. I kind of scrolled it a few times just to make sure that I wasn't absolutely tripping. Are they not on the Tidespout?
They are not on Tidespout.
Okay.
You're not on Tidespout.
Huh?
Ian, you're not on Tidespout.
Yeah. I was just confused. I was looking and I was like, am I missing something? I mean, I guess it makes it. You have clones to clone the Hullbreaker Horror, so you can still, you know. But I literally was just curious. I was looking and I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah. I mean, to me, sometimes Tidespout feels like this piece where, like, if you have it, you can start doing the things, obviously, but if you get both and then you're not able to, like, finish the game, you just start bouncing everyone's shit and go, okay, well, GG. Like, I guess it's kind of a finisher, but then if someone goes, no, let's keep playing it out. Like, if it's, like, close to time or some shit, like, I don't know. I could be wrong in saying that. I'm just making a joke, but, like, I don't know, that is an interesting exclude from the deck compared to what we are used to seeing. I mean, everything else looks correct.
Yeah.
So, looking at the sorceries, I've kind of made a comment here recently, like it seems like people are starting to pick back up more on doing the multiple effects of being able to put like a Basalt Monolith or anything like that straight into play. He's on Stock Up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, that's a good card. They covered Stock Up, and now everybody's on Stock Up. they were ahead of their time.
Apparently. So
Kyle and Yaw, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, instances, for him, it feels low. For him, it feels low. It surprises me. But, I mean, at least if he's on counter packages, it's on the best ones to probably include.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're used to seeing the Misdirection, the Commandeer in these Kennen list.
Yeah. I like Ian loves delay. It seems like it's in a lot of his lists. And I think that it's really good. Yeah. He talked about that in a video a long time ago, how he loves delay, so he runs it in a lot of his lists. And that's why I think it's a good card, personally. Yeah. I don't think it's bad.
Now, he is on the Devoted Druid line, because I was scrolling down and looked. He is on the Machine Gods effigy, so he is on the Devoted Druid stuff, which I feel like that is one that I feel like a lot of people have cut at times, is the Machine Gods. I think the only one you can actually run for this in the Kennen build. So it's just kind of interesting to see that line started to include, like, he's including it here. I think it is fitting, though, because I think it's still a good line in the Kennen deck. So,
well, I think also with, like, most Kennen decks now having so many ways to tutor up artifacts, I think that just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, go more into that package rather than, like, the enchantment-heavy stuff.
Yeah. And then you look at the enchantments, and we aren't seeing, like, the copy artifact and the copy enchantment, still enchantment that we've seen in other lists. It's straight up just double Ristic, a fish, and a Sylvan Library. So, yeah, like I said, that dude could just play whatever he wants to. It doesn't matter at this point. Like, he just goes and plays at events and puts something together and does well. So
that's what's funny. I was watching the critical EDH whenever they had Max P on, and they were talking about that, and he said that he'll ask people all the time, like, what list are they playing, and they're like, oh, I'm playing Ian's list, and he'll be like, don't do that. Like, only Ian understands Ian lists.
Yeah. I think actually Ian, before this event, put out a short of like, hey, let me know what I should play for this event. And so this was probably like a fan deck that I don't know, got more votes or like more comments or things like that. And he's like, okay, sure, I'll put Kennen together for this weekend and jam it. And here we are, him getting second place. So yeah, doing well for like 2 weekends in a row for sure. Because last weekend he played in 2 events. We got second in one and got first in another. So
I do think it's interesting. He took, it was last year, he took Kennen to the Invitational.
Yeah.
So I wonder if as we get closer to the Invitational, we're going to see him start to like pick a deck and like play it more. But he did take Kennen to the Invitational last year, and I mean he did really good. He ended up going. I mean he got to the.
I think
the
anytime
final
he's
pod.
on Kennen, he does well.
Yeah,
is what it seems.
Well, that was what was weird too. Is like he started out the Invitational like a little bit shaky. Like I remember specifically him having a rough day 1. He came in day 2, just crushed it, and then ended up making it into the finals. And I think that was whenever Bailey had like somebody went to wheel and Bailey drops like he had a gemstone to start, and he like Dark Rip, Bowmaster, just rips through some life total. So like that was that you're gonna run into that, but yeah, I mean he's really good with Kennen, so it makes sense. Like I said, I wonder if we're gonna start to see him play this list more as we get closer to the Invitational.
Probably. Yeah. So, congrats, Ian, on second place finish here. All right, and in first place we have Raven Poplin on Kennen Bonder Prodigy, with 5 wins and 2 losses. Now, last time we covered this list, I did point out he is one of my fraternity brothers in Phi Mu Alpha. So I'm interested to see if he's made some changes and updates to this list.
It looks like he has added in quite a bit of clones.
A lot of clones.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that's all that he was on last time, but, you know, as far as things that do kind of stand out to me, he is on the Tidespot Tyrant. So maybe that's the difference. First place, you put Tidespot Tyrant in.
I just realized Ian also, I don't think he was on Nyx Bloom, was he?
I think he was.
Was he?
I think so.
Okay, maybe I'm crazy. I thought Nezahal was the last creature in the list.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
Looks like, you know, we're potentially doing the Fairy Mastermind thing, because we have Fairy Mastermind, the Clever Impersonator, the Endurance, being able to copy a Smothering Tithe, and then being able to kind of do that instant speed win line from there. We have all the really good value Kennen creatures that we have come to expect. We're seeing Valley Floodcaller and High Fade Trickster here in the 99, just be able to do a bunch of shit at instant speed, which I like personally. No Wandering Archaic, no Void Winnower, so this, so far, I'm kind of digging it. Again, running at least 2 effects to be able to tutor out your artifacts. I don't feel like there's too much difference in his interactive package compared to what Ian had. I don't know if Ian had the Dispel or not.
I can't remember. I don't think he was on Reversal.
I don't think he was on Reversal either, but I think a lot of lists have actually just been picking up on the Reversal.
Yeah.
It's solid. Like, just being able, like in Kennen, I almost kind of feel like it's a gotcha card in a way, where it's just like, oh no, I have this dork that could produce 2 of whatever. You better watch it. Someone goes for like a win attempt or something and be like, oh no, I'm tapped out. Dramatic reversal, and just like go off on top of them. Like, I feel like I feel like that's what can happen in this deck. So I like it. I think it's a good include here.
Yeah, I agree.
Looking at the artifacts, we're on this imposter mech again. I like seeing that there. The notable difference I feel like between this and Ian opted to choose for the devoted druid lines. Raven has not. But that kind of leads me to believe that I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Yep. That's exactly what I thought. So higher on the copy effects with the artifacts and the enchantments, and the inclusion of Amphibian Downpour.
Yeah.
Plus this Freed from the Rail, which I believe we did see pop up on Raven's list before, and I think a lot of Cannon pilots have started to gravitate towards this as an include. Just you put it on Bloom Tender or any creature with Enduring Vitality out, and just you win.
Yeah.
Like that's if it resolves that, you just win.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to see there.
Interesting. This is cool.
Yeah.
It's just good old Ken.
He did well at I think it was a top 8 finish at the Lamgo event in Nashville. Now he's got a first place finish, so it's cool to see Raven kicking ass on Kennen. So congrats, dude. All right, and that is our top 16 for this Georgia event, this 10K. You got any takeaways from this?
I think that it's cool to see. I don't know, like this still shows that like there's a lot of different decks that can pop up in top 16 right now. Like still seeing a lot of unique stuff. I also think that it's cool because this kind of gave us a glimpse into how some of these decks are starting to become a little bit more solved. Like I know people say all the time, like, oh, CDH is solved, and I don't think it is. Like you had people doing well with slight variations in the decks and people testing and trying out new stuff. So I just think it's the same thing. I think it's cool the way that CDH is continuing to evolve, continuing to grow. I also think it's really fascinating how we saw a lot of unique stuff in the top, but we did not see a blue farm.
We did not see a single blue farm.
Yeah. So
actually, the next blue farm, or the first blue farm list in this event, is in 21st place.
Yep. So I just thought that was interesting.
But you know what we got in 26th place?
Flubs.
Hey. And look at 34th.
A Zer.
We got a Zer list in there. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I do agree with you, but I also kind of feel like I think I made the comment last week. Like right now it kind of feels like there are a lot of decks that can be Brewers' advantage, and there's definitely some interesting things popping up in these top 16 placements, like that Kenrith list that we just saw, the Wandering Minstrel list. Like I feel like Kefka is becoming a little bit more defined. We've seen some VV kind of pop up, but not necessarily like super consistently, and maybe for the same reason you were talking about, like people are just kind of learning to expect it and then learn how to deal with it at the table. But I think another thing to keep in mind, like as we get closer and closer to the Invitational, it seems like we are going to see a lot more Kennen pop up. We are going to see a lot more of the Rock Thras. I'm gonna still put Blue Farm in that category, as we have seen it, pop up consistently, forever. So I mean, those are, I feel like, the main like 3 decks to expect. But as we get closer to time for that, I guess we'll see how that is going to be solidified for everything.
I agree.
You're smiling over there.
I just saw Snowball was playing Shadow the Hedgehog. He's the guy that created the Shadow Discord.
Oh, okay.
And so he's just constantly brewing with his deck. So I just thought it was cool. So I just wanted to shout that out. I thought that was nice. That was neat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. You got anything else?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed this top 16 breakdown, let us know in the comments down below. If we messed up on anything, I know you all will let us know what we messed up on. So, hey, even if there's some things that you weren't expecting, like that Kenrith list, like if everyone else was just kind of like, I don't know what they're doing, but it seems cool, like, let us know that too. But other than that, if you like what we're doing and you want to support us, drop those comments down below, like, subscribe, and as always,
go play some CEDH.
Ain't that right, Jack? Ain't that right, Jack?
that acronym stands for in their name.
For
the 2ND7.
Second 7. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
You're welcome.